when spirituality and the game combined, you have the thinking class that has turned into the being class. We're live today. I'm waiting for everybody to come through the chat room. I'm actually at about, I didn't go to the weight room today. I will probably go tomorrow, or I have something I have to do tomorrow. But let's get started today. We're talking about some game. We've been talking recently about the power of taking the game and making it flesh. So taking the game and making it flesh, or making it so that it's real to you. And what has happened is a lot of people have been hearing the game, but they have not been digesting the game, that it has become real to them. And so when it has not become real to them, it is just a philosophy or a thought, and that is it. So I want to continue on that particular vein, on that the game must become real to you. What does that mean? It must become authentically real to you. So we talked about last week about that the game must become flesh, and then it walks among you. That means you must embody the game, not just be hearing it, not just be thinking about it, but actually doing it. That's why I've been talking about the importance of getting out here and dealing with a real woman, or dealing with a real business. Go out there and get your feet wet. What we have in the Advent is we have a influx of information, but we have something else that's going on. We had an influx of misinformation. So it's important that we as men and women, particularly men in this chat and in here, that we get out there and we actually participate in life. It's one thing to be on these YouTube streets and philosophize and talk all that stuff, but the real game is won out in the streets. Let me say that again. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I like that young OG speaker. I love that. I like how you changed your name. That's what I'm talking about. So the real game is actually won when you actually get out there and you do something. Not just talk about it, but you actually get out there and you actually do something in these streets. And I don't mean in the streets, but in this world. It's because I want people to get, tied up to the street life is validation of who you are. Please don't come on here. And as you can see on here, we're not on here complaining about women or talking about the disparities of bad women. That is not this channel. If that's your bag, you're in the wrong place. This is not the channel for you. But I will say this, that we need to take the game that we know. That's why I said take it off the pedestal, because it's knowledge, wisdom, strategy on how to move to the next level. How do we implement this in our lives? How do we apply this into our lives? How do we take what we learn and apply it to our lives? And everyone learns differently. My son always reminds me that everyone learns differently. Everybody doesn't learn the same way. But some people, a lot of people learns by hands-on. That means you got to get out there and get your hand in the dirt, or get your hand out there. Go out there and, like for you, young OG speaker, go out there and speak to somebody. Hey, how you doing? And share it and be able to listen. That's how you get your hands out there in the dirt and actually get dirty. Then you can have an assessment of what's good and what's bad. Now you're gonna have to get away from your little B. There's a B right around here. So I want to make sure I emphasize that when it comes to the game. The game is not something that you sit on. It is something that you actually execute and that you do. Let me say that again. The game, I don't care who's teaching it. I don't care what they're saying. You just don't get the game and just don't do nothing with it. If you're not going to do anything with it, you need to stop listening to it. Because you need to stop listening to it, because what's happened is, it's like water. If water is not moving, it's an airplane going over above me. If water is not moving, what happens is, if it's not moving, it gets still. And what happens is it begins to pick up the bacteria, the ants, the bugs, and everything like that. So a lot of people have heard information, but they're not causing it to circulate in their lives. Let me say that again. There's a lot of people like still water. Their information that they had has become contaminated because they have not Can you give an example of how can you do it? Okay, great, I will. So the water has become contaminated. So what I've done personally, I'm glad you asked for an example. If I get some information, because I'm studying a particular thing right now, what I do, I'm not talking about what anybody, and you look at what you can do. I immediately say, how can I implement this in my life? And I begin to make my life like a test, like a science lab. I took science in high school. Did I take it in college? No, I took earth science in college. And I took science, biology, chemistry in high school. But what I did was I began to say, let me see how this works in my life. How can I implement the information I just heard? Even if it's on a micro level. How can I implement this in my life? How can I see if this works? Let me go talk to this young lady, or let me see how this works with this business deal. Let me see what happens with my money. Let me change my mindset and see what happens if I implement it. So what I did was I began to go into the lab. Now I want you to understand there's two labs. Yup. Theory and experiment. Yup. So it's two labs. It's the lab that's with the inside of you, and then it's a lab of life. So what I do is I go into the laboratory of my life. Good morning, what's going on, Red? I go into the laboratory, I go into the lab of my life, and I begin to move the chemicals, put the thoughts, the theories, everything that I heard, and I begin to mix them inside. When I begin to mix them inside, what I then do is say, let me see how this works in the real world. So I automatically go on a test mission. What do I mean? I go and test the game that I've learned. Now I might fail. I have to check. I go and check. I'm like, okay, that didn't work. This worked. Okay, let me do that. So I go on a test mission. Let me test what if I say this to a particular boss. If I say this to a particular individual, what happens if I put my money over there? What happens if I tell my son this? What happens if I tell this young lady that? What happens if I tell my mom that? I begin to automatically go into a test mission, and I begin to test whether the information that I received is valid and is it applicable into my life. And so what you have to do is let me say this, every person, but I'm gonna say particularly men, you should be constantly testing what you learn and what you know. If you want to be entertained, you got the wrong thing. But you should be testing whether this information that you get, whether it's good, or is it you're just getting this information just so you can feel good. Or you're getting the information because you're trying to relieve yourself of pain. You should be testing everything that you get. If you're not testing, what's going to happen is you're going to lose the information. And so a lot of times, a lot of people do not test their information that they got. And what they do is, hey, how you doing? They don't test it, and what happens is the information that they have only becomes a ghost in their own minds. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, let me know in the chat room. That's real talk. So you should be testing every theory, testing everything that you learn. You should be, what's going on, Jay? If this is making sense to you, let me know in the chat room. That's real talk. Good, okay. So you should not just go by what someone said or even what I'm saying. You should be going out there and testing to see if this is valid, if it's not valid. If it's valid or if it's not valid. Keep it up, bro. Okay, good. So what happens is, if we do not test the information that we have, it actually grows stale inside of us. Uh-oh, what's going on? A lot of people are spending too much time consuming content and not a time in the real world with real people and real solutions. Dude, man, you right there. Like when you did the mirror challenge, yeah. Oh, you like when I did the mirror challenge? Yeah, the mirror challenge. Yeah, we got to do the mirror challenge again. A lot of people, right there, black right there. A lot of people are spending too much time consuming content and not enough time in the real world with real people and real solutions. Real people, real solutions. It is just for me or the live stream cut out in and out. If it's cutting out in and out, let me know because I got this mic on. It should be. If it's cutting in and out, let me know because I got this mic on. I make sure it's not doing that. But you're definitely right. It's good. All right. Good. 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 Let me turn it this way because I can't see. So I really want you to. Why am I keep emphasize this? Because I've seen it too much. I've been guilty of this gobbling content. But I want to make sure you understand this. The game must be the game that you get on the information that you get must turn into. You must embody it. When you embody it, it changes everything about you. Man, I can think of, man, this weekend was a great weekend. I got time. I'm gonna share a little bit. Man, I had a great weekend this weekend. I guess facts, my friend. 20 years plus here in relation here in a relationship. You gain real experience with being in one every day. Thank you so much right there. Thank you so much. Thank you so right there. Most people, most people are on here they're giving you let me cut to the chase. I was gonna say something about my weekend. Well, I'm gonna get right to this. You got to be careful many times on these YouTube streets, on these Facebook streets, and on these Instagram streets. The information that you're hearing is from somebody who's butt hurt because the relationship didn't go their own way, and they're using YouTube and they're using Instagram and they're using podcasts as a way as therapy for them to make them feel better. So they get on here and they'll tell you everything that's wrong about it, but they never say the side what they did wrong. Gotta watch that. You need to be listening with the fine-tuned comb. You need to be listening. They'll come on here and I'm calling it out. I'm saying it. And what happened is they'll tell you everything that the other person did. How the relationship worked, how these women ain't for the streets, and how these women ain't good, and how the money ain't right, that somebody did this. They give you all of that information because they're processing it in front of you, and what they're actually doing is they're actually vomiting on you. They're not teaching you or helping you. They're actually vomiting, regurgitating on you, on your mental, and now you're affected. Make sure I'm on the track of what I'm saying. And so what you're hearing is, you're not hearing from somebody that's healed, you're hearing from somebody that's hurt because the relationship that they were in or they wanted to be with didn't work out. So now they have a perception or belief that all women are like this, all men are like this, that every situation is bad, that everything is doomsday. Careful of that. Careful. You should be listening to someone who's going to teach you on how to be a better version of yourself, have a better relationship with someone, and how to go out there and really test the information that you get. Or you, mm-mm, mm-mm. I never had a bad breakup. It's all about how you conduct yourself and who you choose to be with. Good, I love that. But I'm here to tell you, let me make sure I get back to the point I want to get at. So you have to test the information that you have. So this weekend, I wanted, if you see the picture that I put up, so many men are angry, which gets in the way of their true blessings. That's very true. And it's so many men and women. So many men and women are butt hurt. And I'm saying that, too bad I don't get my baby thing. Baby, the baby noise. They're so butt hurt and so hurt about what a woman had done to them and what they seen, and they never got over it. They never moved on. They never say, you know what, let me charge this to the game. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why they never charged it to the game. It's because their emotions got involved in it. Listening to Vlad TV this week, and the interviewer was interviewing a guy that was a Hell's Angel, and he said something that was very powerful that I want you to get, and it applies to what we're talking about. They asked him, "So how did you deal with opposing motorcycle gangs and things like that, or people who didn't like you?" He said, "The first thing I did, pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, is get, I did not allow my emotions to make a decision on what I needed to do." Let me say what he said. He said, "I did not allow my emotions to get me out there to make a decision that I should not have made." He said, "I sat back and thought and used logic on what the next move. And because I used logic, it saved my life on what I needed to do." How is that applicable to what we're doing now? And how is this applicable to the conversation? It's applicable to the conversation is when you get this game and you need to embody it, it is time for you now to think. But then once you start thinking logically, the next thing is not allow your emotions to dictate or get in the way of what you need to do next. What you have to do next is let me embody this and let me walk it out. What is LDX saying? This man who was many years in the Hell's Angel gave an important key. What was the important key? Don't allow your decisions that you make to what? Be governed by your emotions, but be governed by your what? Your logic, your thinking, your ability to reason. That means you have to be able to put your emotions in check. So let me say that again. A lot of times, a lot of men they don't allow their emotions they allow their emotions to run with them. And what happens is you got to allow your emotions to get in check. He said feelings are fake. So you have to put your emotions in check and you now have to think logically. So when this older man said that, I immediately rewinded and listened to him several times of what he had to say. Morning, good brothers. LDA, what's going on? Morning to the chat. Good to see you, brother. So you have to allow your emotions to be in check. What happens is we have a generation of men and women, but I'll say men, who are governed by their emotions, who do not think. That does not mean that you don't acknowledge your emotions. What you have to do, what's my role? The first game that you got to run is on yourself. But the first person that you need to check is your emotions. You don't want to check women, you want to check children, you want to check your boss, but you have not checked your emotions. Ooh, right there. You right there, Jay. Right there. Also, don't trust social media. Most people invest in image, not substance. Correct. So let me say the first person that you need to check is not the woman. It's not your mom, not your sister, not your brother, not the cat, the dog. You need to check your emotions at the door. You need to check your emotions at the door. Some of the things that we have done, and I've done in the past, I've said in the past, I said out of emotions and not out of logic. When you begin to do that, you become a thinking man, thinking woman, and you make better decisions. There's people like we said before, there's people serving football numbers in jail because they were ran by their emotions and not by thinking. That's why the game is for you to think and to be, not for you to get emotionally or get entertained. Many times what we have on these social media is people who want to be entertained. Let me say, we got a lot of people who want to be entertained by this information. They want to be glamorized by wearing hats or I got this, I'm pimping it. No, the real thing is for you to think. The game is, let me emphasize this again, the game is about thinking. It's about putting your emotions in check. It's about making sure that what you do is strategic and that you're moving in a certain direction. That's the real game. All the stuff that you've seen, you like they're saying, and like Renee's saying, the image will come when you with substances to establish the truth. When you focus on people's images and not the substance that's in them or the real game in them or how they really move, you can get tricked. If this is making sense to you, let me know in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room if you're picking it up what I'm putting down there. Hey, how's it going? Let me know in the chat room if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Put a number 1 in the chat room. We need some more ones in the chat room. Y'all ain't sleep. There you go. Peace. What's going on? You preaching as usual, brother. I appreciate that. Peace. What's going on, Yahoo? Good. All right. Good. 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 So this separates the boys from the men when you're able to think and to reason before you move. This separates the real game and those who pretended to be talking about the game. Anybody can talk it. But let me see the results that you have from it. And many times the results that we see, it's not lasting results. It's not lasting results. So I want you guys to really get, wait, how many I'm at? 2. Okay, I'm at that many minutes. So I want you to really get what I'm saying to you today. The game should be about, or the wisdom, it should be about getting you to think, getting you to reason, so that you can embody it, so that you can walk it out. It should be about what? So that you can reason, so that you can think, so that you can walk it out. And I'm emphasizing this over and over again because I don't want anybody to miss it. Because it's easy to get entertained on here. YouTube, the game section, and we're talking about women and dating and all that has turned into entertainment. Who can dog out women? How many women you got on here? And it's turned into entertainment. It has not turned into edifying. That means building you up to be the best version of you. You can have all the stats in the world. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Have all the stats in the world. Means nothing if you don't do anything with it. You can do all those things. Yeah, it's turned into pure, yeah, say that, it's turned into pure entertainment. And it's another word that tomfoolery has turned into. No edification at all. You think about it. And I know we so kindergarten that we need to be edgy, we need somebody to put on a clown hat and looking like Homie the Clown or looking like Bozo the Clown before we receive anything. But it's all entertainment. You got to see somebody cuss out a girl. You got to see somebody get into it. Somebody's beefing with somebody else. What grown men, and I'm going to say this, what grown men gets on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and beef with another man? Now, we may not agree on everything, but I'm just saying. It's like if the building of Black family has been a circus. Yeah, it's a freaking circus. Yeah, they're looking like Boo Boo the Fool. This is what it is turned into. That's why I call this the thinking class. Now, and as Justin had put it last week, it's turned into the what being class. Super facts, bro. That's crazy. Turn to the being class. It's one thing to think we need to graduate to being, but it's turned into a full blown circus. And I understand. I could do that. I can turn this into a circus. We'll begin to talk about this one and that one and who's doing this and entertainment. I understand. I'll probably get money. I get super chats, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, does it really edify you as a person? How you doing? If it does not edify you, you need to stop listening to it. If it's not building you up, if it's not taking you to the next level, you need to stop listening to it. So we have turned into a circus on many levels. And what happens is because we have turned into a circus on many levels, we have a lot of people who are playing the clown. So what we have done is we have turned this into an entertainment sector. And what we have done is we have turned a lot of guys and a lot of people into clowns. Go back and look at some of these channels. You'll notice one thing common: clowns. That's why it's important that you get wisdom on what to do next. That's why I eliminate anyone that comes to this channel. You're going to come on this channel is for you to think and for you to be a better person and for you to graduate into another level. You're looking for entertainment, or you're looking for somebody to make you feel good, this is not it. And I have to call it out because what happens is, what happens is people are looking, we always talk about low-hanging fruit when it comes to women, but we never talk about low-hanging fruit when it comes to content. Let me say that again. What are we talking about low-hanging fruit when it comes to women? These women the low-hanging fruit, but we never talk about the low-hanging fruit when it comes to content. Some of y'all are eating spoiled fruit and don't even know it. That's why you constipated. That's why you have the runs. Because you're digesting low-hanging content. I know they get the numbers. I know it's entertaining. I know it makes you feel good. I know it makes you laugh. Low-hanging content. Low-hanging content will lead you nowhere. And I believe we need to laugh and have a good time. I'm all for that. But what happens is when you get caught up listening to low-hanging content, what's going to happen is it's first a reflection of you, but it's also saying that you ain't really trying to go anywhere. Check, 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 check. That's why I talk about the game on here. Let me get back to my weekend. So this weekend, I met with, if you've seen the picture I posted on YouTube in the comments, you'll see that I posted me with the pimp. His name is Good Game. And what I did was, he had a birthday. What I did was I made sure I came in there, I walked in there, and you had to pay to get in, 25 to get in ahead, you pay to get in. I made sure when I got there, I'm sharing this because I want you to get this. I made sure I gave him love, gave him grip. What's up, bro? How you doing? Say, hey, bro, we need to take a picture. He said, one moment, no problem. I don't chase no other man. I don't care who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was the Pimp Good Game. Now he goes by Great Game. And so later when I walked around, seen the DJ I knew, see some friends, I came back around. He said, brother, hey, we got to take that picture. We took that picture that you see right there. The reason why I'm sharing with that, people can recognize when somebody's real and when they're fake. And like Yahoo just said, anything that's low frequency will attract women, men at low frequency, food, drink, or entertainment. Correct. And I made sure when I walked in there, I was fresh. I make sure I represented LDA, not just the brand, but me as a person. And I came in there, I made sure I represented who I am. Why did I do that? First of all, I went to the same high school. True, he a true player to his heart. True PI for real, ain't no YouTube PI. He's a real PI. And then two, I make sure I honor the dude. We've been through some things. But the reason why I'm sharing all of that, because I had to think when I went in there. I had to make sure I thought about everything I did. I made sure I showed honor to him. And this the main thing I did. Because I want y'all to get it, because some of y'all to go out, kick it. I didn't stay there long. After I took the picture, I walked around one time and I left. Why am I sharing this? Because when you of high value, you can't. I mean, let me give a you can't put a you're not going to see something of high value in a place with commoners. This is the reason why I'm sharing that. I'm not saying that anybody else was less of value, but because I valued who I am, I realized I cannot just be anywhere and just any place and I can't stay long. Why can't I stay long? Because I'm valuable and if I don't need you to get common with me. And I want you to have that same attitude. That's the real game. You cannot allow anyone or any situation become common with you. I know I'm jumping all over the place and I'm talking about the game. You think in the game, being in the game, embodying it. But I want you to really get this. You can't allow nothing, no one to become common with you. If you stand at the club at the place until it close, you ain't of value. If you hawking and stalking and looking at every woman to come in, that means you ain't used to having that. I got myself, took my hat off, got in my car and left, drove off. I think I was home by 12:30. Why am I saying this to you? You got to understand that the ultimate game, where I'm really getting, if you understand the game, you embody the game, and then you walking it out, is realizing who you really are, who you're really connected to, and that is the source to God. You are God walking in the earth as his representation. You are his ambassador. How does his ambassador look just being around just everyone and just shucking and jiving and doing what everybody else is doing? That's not the game. The real game is realizing that I'm of value. Bro, I appreciate you. Take the picture and I'm out. That separates you from everyone else. We have too many people who are looking the same. And that's the reason why we have the low-hanging fruit on this low-hanging content on these social media streets. Because everyone, if you look at it, everyone is saying the same thing. Very few are talking at a different frequency. And if they're not talking at a different frequency, okay, I see somebody. Okay, I see somebody over there walking. I make sure okay, so somebody on the bike. You got to elevate yourself. I know you got to elevate yourself. The reason why I do the thinking class, I come on Wednesdays and Fridays. I want to see a group of men and women who actually want the game, who actually want the game, who actually want to do something with their lives. Hold on one second. Who actually want to do something with their lives. But that's the goal of this, the goal of the thinking class. And I know I'm talking in circles and it seems like I'm not going anywhere. That's why I want to make sure I'm concrete on what I'm talking about. At the beginning of this conversation, I'm talking about the game. I'm talking about not just hearing the game, not just thinking about the game, but definitely embodying the game. Can't wait for the results, but patience is the rule of the game. Correct. Now, let me emphasize this, and I'm gonna get ready to go. Can't wait for the results, but patience is a rule of the game. So let me say this. This is going to be sort of tough to say, but it is, and I'm digesting this. When you realize that you are the game and that you are the results, then you stop looking for results and realize that you are the results. Let me say that again. When you realize that you stop looking for results and start being the results, can't hit, I keep emphasizing this, you'll start seeing your life begin to open up around you. I stopped looking for results. I start being the results. Let me say that again. You realize, remember I kept saying the first game you play is to play on yourself. But the thing is, you realize that you are the results. You stop looking for signs and wonders and for people to confirm that who you are. You realize that I am that. This separates true game from the elementary steps to game. When you realize that I am the results. Give it example. Give it example. Give an example, LDA. I'm not trying to go get women. Women are so attracted to me that they can't resist me. But I don't see any results. I got women are calling all the time. I'm just using that as an example. See the difference? I'm not trying to get money. I am money. It separates the real from the legit. So this what I'm trying to do is get you to shift your perception of who you really are. So you realize I am the results. You don't need to wait for the results. You are the results. If you're constantly waiting, you're going to be still waiting. This separates everyone else. I promise you. This separates everyone else. When you realize I am the results, I am the game. When I talk the good game or great game that he go by now, when he took the picture, he said, "Yo, blood, bleed, go get that girl to take our picture." Why? Because the game is not just about talk to him; it's in him. When you stop looking for results, you start being the results. This ain't elementary school. This ain't the elementary class for you. I'm telling you now. I didn't graduate. So you go from just thinking about it and wanting the wisdom to being the wisdom. This separates the girls from the boys, the girls from the women, and this separates when you be the wisdom. When you be it, I'm gonna emphasize this until you get it. Stop looking for results and start being the results. This would change everything. The reason why we did the mirror challenge early this year is for you to convince you that you are what you're saying. That separates everybody else. I know I'm talking a little bit too deep. Let me get that together. This separates everyone else when you realize the results that you're looking for, you're going to constantly look for them until you become the results. I'm not going to say anymore. I said enough today. Well, I'm at 33. Catch us Friday. If you want to come up on Friday, we're going to be talking about something similar to this. And I'm going to start bringing people up again. But the real game is when you embody the game. When it doesn't become just talk. It's how you walk. It's how you live. It's what you breathe. It's what people see around you. That's the real game. And what we talked about today, don't get fooled by low-hanging content. Don't get caught up in the circus and you looking like Boo Boo the Fool. You got your clown hat on, looking like you in the special slow bus and you in the little bus because you listen to content that don't get you anywhere. What's going on, Jag? What's going on? Good to see you. I'm about to jump off here because I got an appointment I got to make. But I want you to get this. Don't just hear the game, be the game. Don't just be the game. I want you to embody the game. And not just embody the game, begin to walk out the game. Some of the reason what I'm doing is, the example, I'm gonna give you this last example and then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give you this last example. All I'm doing is putting you in front of a big, large aquarium. And I want you to get this. I'm putting you in front of a big, large aquarium, and there's fish going all over the aquarium, moving, and you looking at the big, large aquarium. But you're standing in one particular place looking at the fish. So the fish swims past you. But what you don't know, because you have not moved where you were standing and move 10 to 15 feet move 50 feet to the left or to the right, is that there's a well in the same aquarium. All I'm doing is getting you to move your perception of what you see about life and what you see about yourself. If I can get you to see and perceive yourself completely different, you'll win at life. That's all LDA is, that's all this channel was designed to do, is to get you out of the aquarium of looking at what you see, one little fish, and realize if you move just 2 to 3 feet and move your perception and look at life completely different, you'll see that you're winning. That's why you don't hear me coming here talking about bashing women. What am I bash women for? You hear me talking about what these clowns are doing on YouTube. What would I do that for? Nah. See, if your perception is just on bashing women and the modern women and what they're doing and how they ain't right, and you focus on just that, that's all you're gonna see. But when you are real G, and that means a real OG, you don't deal with those type of women. You only deal with the top level. You deal with the fruit at the top of the tree and not the low hanging fruit. And realize in order to get to the top to get the fruit at the top, you're gonna need a ladder. That means you're gonna need game to get up there. Not just game, but you're gonna have to navigate and knows what's good and what's bad. This separates the boys from the men. Yeah, let them bash themselves. We have too many channels, and I'm gonna say it again, I don't care who like it, who emphasize that. Don't forget to come to DC in October. I'm inviting you in public, October 14th. Okay. Hold on, yeah, hold on one second. Yep. High vibrational women, not low. Right. Okay, so you invited me in public. Got you. Or you got our seats ready. Okay, just October, this on. Yeah. So I want you to really emphasize that. I heard Ron Wills, he did a video, I think he put it out today. Shout out to him. If you only focus it on the low vibrational women, that means on some level, you like that because you keep talking about that. Pick fruit from the top of a tree, not from the ground, not the barrel. Some of y'all keep picking from the bottom of the barrel and you wonder why you keep getting rotten fruit. And the issue is, let me get this game. Salute John the W. Let me get this game right, because you said something. The issue is not the fruit. Let me say this again. The issue is not the bad fruit and the good fruit. Y'all, if y'all really want this game, you got me going. I'm actually walking back down the trail. The issue is not the bad fruit. Mm-mm. It's not the good fruit. It's the person who's picking the fruit. Let me say that again. The issue is not the bad fruit. The ones in the barrel. It's not the ones, it's not the ones, the low-hanging fruit. It is the person who is picking the fruit. And that's you. If if we were to do real produce, we realize if we were to talk about this in the example that we're giving about low-hanging fruit and the fruit that's in the barrel, it all comes down to what are you choosing as a man, and same as women. Who are you choosing as a who are you choosing who you who are you choosing as a woman or whatever the case may be? You're the one choosing that. Knowledge of how to pick the right fruit. Thank you so much. Yeah, you choose, reflect. Up. So all you guys, what's going on? Pause. So the issue is not the low-hanging fruit. The issue is not the fruit that's in the barrel. The real issue is what? Who are you picking? If a farmer picks a bad apple and eats it, whose fault is that he got that he sick by the apple or the farmer? Uh-oh. That's why I don't understand all this bashing of women and bashing of men on YouTube. You picked them jokers. You lay with them. You got the fleas. So the real issue is not the fruit. Think about it. When I go get my produce, I go to this it's called the West Side Market here in Cleveland. And what I do is I go to my particular vendors and I look for particular fruit. I have them look at the particular fruit and I decide whether that fruit is good or not. I make sure I sidestep anything that's overly ripe or that is who's going to be ripe in what do you call that? A couple days. So when I get my avocados, I make sure when I get my avocados, I make sure that I can keep them for at least a week because it's going to take me a week to eat through them. Hey, how you doing? Why do I do that? Because I don't need my fruit to be ripened before it's time for me to eat it. And some of y'all are choosing people, you men are choosing fruit that's overly ripe that ain't good for you. And you get mad and you want to make a YouTube channel complaining about women. Imagine that, the farmer getting mad because he chose bad fruit. Imagine that. I was about to leave. I had to head to the house now. Imagine that. You mad because and the same for women. You mad because you chose the wrong man, and now you want to make a YouTube channel about how you should not eat certain fruit because it's bad for you. When you were the one who chose it. It's the farmer. And then if we were to go really esoteric, now it got me thinking, what have you been planting inside of you for you to be even attracted to bad fruit? Let me say that again. What have you been planting inside of you for you to desire to choose low-hanging fruit and to choose from the bottom of the barrel and not get the top grade fruit? What have you planted inside of? Do you know there's a company, because I study luxury stuff, that sells top luxury fruit that you can order. I knew you were going to say the fruit picker, not the fruit that is picked. Right. Yep. You right about that. No, there's a luxury brand where they do around Christmas time and Thanksgiving time. And what they do is you get the top of the top fruit from this company, and they put it in a gift, wrapped it, and they put it in the box. And then when it get to you, it's completely ready for you to eat. But it's the top quality. And you know what? It's a price for that fruit. It's a price for that fruit. And what you have to pay, I think it's about close to $100 to $200 to get that fruit delivered for a gift on Christmas time. I want you to realize, if you want the top best of anything, just not women, not just let's not talk about women, using this example, you're gonna have to pay the price for that. And the price you're gonna pay is whatever you are willing to invest in yourself. Some of y'all are addicted to the bottom of the barrel because it's easy and she can get you off. Not realize that you can have better. I'm trying to get you to change your palate right quick. If I can get you to change your palate, your desire for better, not just the sex, but I mean a one or man or a woman who's going to treat you right, baby, it'll change your life. So so why are you picking something that's not good for you? Y'all quiet in the chat room now. Well, I'm about to get ready to go. This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class who has transformed into the what? Being class. With that being said, I'm out. No problem, brother.